Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down big ideas. Today, we're diving into something we all think about: motivation. We're taught it's all about the money, the rewards, the pressure. But what if that entire idea is just wrong? All right, to really get this, let's travel back in time a bit. Picture it: an office, late 1970s. You've got a manager kind of pacing, looking out over his team, and they're just there. Going through the motions, clock watching, that creative spark is totally gone. Does that sound a little too familiar, maybe? So what does this frustrated boss do? Well, exactly what you'd expect. He goes for the classic playbook: bigger bonuses if you hit your numbers, stricter rules, tighter deadlines. He's basically pulling out the old carrot and stick. And you know what? For a hot second, it actually works. Productivity spikes. But then, just as fast, poof, the energy is gone. Everyone's right back to staring at the clock. And this right here shows you the huge flaw in that whole approach. It's kind of like trying to run your car on sugar instead of gasoline. Sure, you get a quick burst, but in the end, you just end up clogging the whole engine. And this really gets us to the heart of the problem, what we're calling the motivation myth. See, decades after that scene in the 70s office, a thinker named Daniel H. Pink came along and gave us a totally new way to look at this. He showed us that for the kind of work most of us do now, work that needs creativity and real thinking, that old carrot and stick model isn't just outdated, it's completely broken. So this is really the core idea we're going to unpack. On one side, you have the myth, the carrots and sticks, all those external rewards. And on the other side, you have the truth, this powerful internal fuel called intrinsic drive. This is the big shift in thinking we need to make. Okay, so before we dive into what that real fuel for motivation is, hey, if you're already getting some value out of this, it would be awesome if you could hit that like button, share this, and subscribe. It really does help us make more explainers just like this one for you. Right, so if the old way is busted, what's the new way? It's time to actually look under the hood at what really makes us tick. And it turns out there are 3 core pillars that create that lasting drive. And here's the thing: real sustainable motivation, it's not some complicated secret formula. It actually stands on 3 simple but incredibly powerful human pillars: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. So let's break down what each of these really means. Okay, first up, autonomy. At its core, this is all about our deep, innate need to be in the driver's seat of our own lives. So what is autonomy? It's that desire for agency, right? The freedom to have a say in our work, how we do it, what we work on, even when we do it. Think about it. It's the difference between being a pawn on a chessboard, just getting moved around, and being the player who's actually calling the shots. The second someone starts micromanaging us, our drive just tanks because that natural desire to direct ourselves gets squashed. A great way to think about this is a painter. What inspires them? It's not the paycheck, right? It's the freedom to decide what they're going to create. That self-direction is the fuel. And that's exactly what those employees back in our 70s office were missing. But freedom by itself isn't quite enough. We also have this deep craving to make progress. And that brings us perfectly to our second pillar: mastery. Mastery is that hunger we all have inside us to just get better at stuff that we care about. We are literally wired to learn and to grow. And the joy we get from seeing ourselves improve, that is an incredibly powerful motivator. It's that desire to not just do a job, but to become a true craftsman at it. Think about a guitarist practicing late into the night. They're not doing it for the big round of applause. They're doing it for that one moment of pure joy when they finally nail that difficult chord. In that case, the work itself is the reward. That's mastery right there. And that brings us to the final, and you could argue the most powerful pillar of them all: purpose. This is the piece that connects what we do every day to a bigger picture. Purpose is that feeling that you're a part of something bigger than just yourself. It provides the why. Why does this matter? It's the context that makes our work feel meaningful. And when our daily tasks connect to a cause we actually believe in, even the toughest jobs suddenly feel important. Think about a nurse working a really long, grueling shift. What's keeping them going? It's not the overtime pay. It's that deep down belief that helping every single patient is like a little win for humanity. That right there, that's purpose.
Okay, so what happens when you put all three of these together? When we finally move beyond that old, outdated idea of carrots and sticks, and instead we focus on building autonomy, mastery, and purpose.
Well, what you find are the world's most engaged, most innovative people. And this isn't just for one type of job, not at all. We're talking dedicated workers, inspired artists, groundbreaking thinkers. The best performers in any field are fueled by this internal drive. They're not chasing a bigger carrot. They're chasing a deeper meaning. And really, this is the big takeaway. When you can line up what you do every day with autonomy, mastery, and purpose, something amazing happens. Motivation stops being this thing you have to fight for, this daily struggle. It just becomes a natural, sustainable part of who you are. So, I want to leave you with a question to think about. When you look at your own life, your work, your hobbies, anything you're learning, what is just one small thing you could change, maybe even tomorrow, to unlock a little more autonomy, a little more mastery, or a stronger sense of purpose? Really think about it, and I'd love to hear your ideas. So please share them down in the comments below. And of course, if you found this explainer helpful, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next one.
Thank you for listening.